Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to install this LVT3. This is the LED board from Paradise Arcade Shop. This is that awesome board I showed you in my last video where you can program the buttons on your fight stick to be any color you want. I'll show you how to install this here. First of all, ParadiseArcadeShop.com, it's where you get it. It's about 125 bucks. It does seem a little pricey, but I thought this was so awesome I immediately bought a second one. It'll actually, if you buy all clear buttons, you can use this and program the buttons to be whatever color you want. That way you don't have to keep ordering different colored buttons every time you swap in new artwork. Just to make sure you got all the pieces, it comes with the board, a few different wires here, bag of screws, and most importantly a melted bag of chocolate. We're going to start by taking the frame off first. So you want to take off all these outer screws. Alright, now we take off the frame, which I cracked. I showed you that in my last video. It's alright. And then we're going to take off the joystick next. And I'm actually going to install some new artwork too. I ended up reprinting my last one because it was a little dark, so I'm going to install another copy that's a little lighter. And then we're going to take off the plastic. Alright, I'm going to take off all these connectors on the buttons now. You can remember, the color guide's down here. It's as if you're looking at it, so the yellow is going to be on the bottom right, the red's going to be on the bottom left. If you can't shimmy them off with your hands, some of them you can. I have a pair of needle nose pliers that I use to just kind of pull on them. You gotta pull kind of hard. It's kind of scary, but it won't break. Don't be afraid to tug hard, but you just want to pull back and straight so that you don't bend the pins. And I'm also going to disconnect this little piece here. You just pull it out. And then we're going to go ahead and take this plate off. Take off the 4 main screws. Plate's off. Now we're going to pop the buttons out. Each button has these little push tabs on the side. Just push those in, pop them out. And since this board allows you to program whatever colors you want, I bought all clear buttons, which is what you're going to want to do. It'll prevent you from having to buy colored buttons ever again, really. And then I'm going to remove my old artwork. And now I'm going to install my new artwork. Yeah, it looks just like the last one, but it's slightly brighter. It's probably hard to tell on the video, but I'm noticing when I'm printing they come out a little darker than they're designed for, so I end up kind of boosting up the light levels and printing them again. Alright, now I got my new artwork in place and I'm going to start putting in my clear buttons. I got these from focusattack.com. They're all clear, so we can program whatever colors we want. And we're just going to pop them in place. Now I got the artwork in, the buttons are in. I'm going to go ahead and put the plastic cover back on and screw the frame back in. Looks pretty good. Sits right on top. Put the frame back on. I'm going to put the crack at the top so it doesn't, can't feel it on my hand when I'm playing. Yeah, looks good. Get these screws back in. We're just going to put the joystick back on, along with the dust ring. Now that everything's put back together, we're ready to install the new LVT3 board. So you're going to keep it logo in the upper left, put it right back on just like how your other one was. And it comes with these screws and little rubber washers. So you can put the washer on the opposite side, put the screw through it. All things considered, this is a pretty easy install. And then using the color guide down here, we're going to reconnect all the colored wires. If it feels like these are ever too loose, I usually kind of just go in with a pair of needle nose pliers and just kind of pinch them, make them a little tighter. Probably not necessary, but it can't hurt. And now you're going to take this thin black wire and put it right back where it was, in this CN9 slot. And the board actually came with another one of those wires, this one with the red, black, and white. I'm not going to use because we already have it, so you can toss that aside. And then you're going to take this wire here that's connected at the base of the inside of your fight stick. It comes that way. You're going to open these brackets up, which will pop it out, and you're going to plug this end into the new board in the slot that's labeled buttons, right on the bottom middle. And then from there, we're going to take this new wire that came with our board, and we're going to plug it into that slot that we just removed the last batch of wires from. Push it in there snug. Push the brackets shut to lock it into place, and this will go into the CN5 slot on the new board. And then the last thing we're going to do is remove this cable with the white head from the bottom of the joystick. And we're going to put that over into the CN4 slot right here on the bottom. Just like that. Alright, we're almost done here. We got one more wire. Came with your LED board. We're going to put that into the last remaining slot on the board labeled joystick. And as you can imagine, we're going to put the other end right where we just pulled the other one out of the joystick. Bam! So your final setup should look something like this. You guys can get the links to download the software and the drivers needed to set your button colors up in the description of this video. There's one file for the drivers and one file for the software setup. I installed the drivers first and then installed the setup program, and I had to run as administrator in order to get the drivers installed, so you might need to do that. Once you get them both installed, go ahead and launch the software, and you will see this menu here, the LVT3 setup. And now before you hit anything, you want to go back to your joystick, make sure it's unplugged from your system. When you open the fight stick up, you'll notice there is a port for a mini USB connection on the side of the LVT3. So you're going to hold, this is kind of awkward, but you got to hold the first punch and the first kick button and then plug it in while you're still holding it. You'll notice the colors flash, and when you see them flashing white like that, you can let go. That means it's basically ready for the software program to load. Just press the scan button and the software should open up like this. I'll be honest, I have a lot of issues launching the software sometimes. Just now I had to open it 12 or 13 times before it actually opened. It'll either tell me it's not connected to a USB port or that there's an update available at the website. If you get those errors, you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. Just keep trying, and eventually it'll take and it'll open. You just click whatever color you want, and you'll see it immediately on your fight stick. And you'll see the top is the button in its neutral state, and the bottom you can assign a different color to for when the button is pushed. If you have a LED joystick, you can also set that here. I do not, so I can't show you that, but it works the same way. And once you get the button combination that you want, this is what I got for my ice stick. These are the colors I want. You just hit save to LVT3, and then it's safe to unplug the USB port, and then you can plug it in and start playing. There's also all these awesome idle animations. These are basically if you're not touching the controller or hitting any buttons for the amount of time that you specify. These are seconds. It's kind of like a screensaver for your controller. There's a lot of different ones you can choose from. You can also, set colors here. So you set, yellow, red, orange. It's pretty awesome. This color wheel is not completely flexible. You can't click and drag it around. It's just whatever color you click on, that's kind of what you're at, and then you can manually adjust it down here. But what I've been doing is using Photoshop to kind of fine-tune the colors that I want. For example, this is the color that I use for my strong punch button, heavy punch. You can take these RGB values right here. So 0, 198, 255, 0, 198, 255, bam. And you'll notice on my buttons, the buttons to the right are heavier saturated than the buttons to the left of them. So if you're looking at the color wheel in Photoshop, the upper right hand corner is going to give you the most bold saturated colors. So pretty much for mine, my strongest color, which is this blue here, is all the way up in the right. The next one down, a little further along the top, and then even further, so it's less color for each button. I just did that to identify the different strengths, but you can do it however you want. It's your stick, make them all the same, make them all different, whatever you want. And then I actually saved this file in Photoshop, so if my buttons ever reset or I go to a different scheme and want to come back to this one, I can just get these RGB values again and drag them back into the software. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty flexible. I like it a lot. That's really all there is to it. If you're playing around with colors and you like something that you did before, just read from LVT. We'll get the last one that you saved and kind of revert everything back. So I recommend to save often. If you find a button color you like, set it and then save it. So if you're playing around and you need to go back, you can reset it again and still keep the last button that you had. LVT3, it's fucking awesome. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, I appreciate a thumbs up or a subscribe. If the video completely ruined your day, just give me a thumbs down. If you guys pick up one of these LVT3 boards and start customizing, post your pictures in the comments. I want to see what you guys do. Later.